Coming to you live from the center of Hollywood, California. What were you thinking? With Aaron and Scott. Real talk behind closed doors. It's not just about stupidity, but everything else that comes with it. High octane, energy driven, in your face. Get ready. It's Aaron and Scott.
And we welcome you to the happiest show on earth, where we bring you up to date on the the crazy things that people do. Scott,
hi, Aaron.
How are you doing tonight?
I'm good.
Yeah.
Would you say the happiest place on earth?
that welcome to the happiest show on earth.
I feel like we're in like the Christmas kingdom or something.
Well, I know Disneyland says the happiest place, but we're the happiest show.
Hey, we're not far from them.
No, we're not.
Anyway, onward and forward.
So I have two little. I know we have. I love the beginning of the show because we talk about little piffs. You know,
oh God, that word again. Piff. Okay.
You know
a piff.
You know what a piff is?
Well, a piff is something that somebody who's like 103 years old, female, uses to describe something that severely upset her the day before, maybe at perhaps a friend's house, or she found something in her garden that didn't belong there. Or maybe she lost her teeth in her coffee.
Well, I have two little piffs that I want to talk about. I know you have a bunch of piffs that
I don't call them piffs,
address.
But it's okay.
Things that irritate you, things that bug you,
things that really fucking piss me off.
But a piff is just fun. It's
what?
Just a fun word.
I'm cool with it, Aaron.
Okay.
What's your piff?
So I'm working out today, like I do, every day.
Right.
I'm all about health and fitness, taking care of myself.
Mm-hmm.
If you're in the gym and you're sick,
stay the fuck home.
Stay home.
Yeah.
Don't be there hacking and coughing all over your equipment, all over the people next to you. And if you're running on a treadmill and the person's running next to you, you're still not moving anywhere. Though the tread's moving, you're not running away from the person.
Okay, so everybody
you're
stay home.
Stay home.
If you're sick, just stay home.
Please.
If you look good, those 2 extra days that you're in the gym sick, it's not going to make a difference. If you miss those days, stay home and get better.
If you're in the gym and you're listening to music, shut your mouth. Don't sing. Don't dance around. Don't
push it. Jesus Christ. If they want to sing, let them fucking sing.
No.
Well, what if they come to the gym
Scott,
and they start singing and they're sick? Pick your enemy. Go home because you're sick. Stay if you want to sing.
Don't beat on the machine like it's a drum kit as you're, beat back to whatever song.
You had somebody really psychotic,
It's just be considerate of others around you. It's called common sense, right?
You know what? I'm going to get you a T-shirt that says, mind my piff. Mind my piff.
Well, okay. Before you go into all your piffs,
What's that word? Epiphany? Didn't that have something to do? I have an epiphany. Something that pissed you off that you thought about? I don't know. What does that mean? Anyhow.
Well, okay. I have a quote of the day. It's the.
Wait, are those your 2 piffs?
Well, no. That's my 1 piff.
That was like one with 2 within it.
It was, yeah.
Okay.
It was all
cheating again.
Anyway.
Okay.
I have a quote for the day.
Okay.
If you tell someone you're going to do something, please do it.
Okay.
If you can't do it, just tell them.
You can't do it.
You can do it.
It's never going to happen in L.A. People bullshit and lie all the time.
Oh, God.
If
you can't do it, tell me.
I'm going to sip my beverage.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, that's it. If you're going to... people just... They try to...
Don't annoy Aaron.
Don't annoy
He's
me.
a nice guy. Don't annoy him.
Don't sing in the gym.
I wanted to talk about something. General Mills has started producing Cheerios free of genetically modified content, making the 73-year-old breakfast cereal one of the highest profile brands to change in the face of growing complaints over such ingredients from activist groups and some consumers. Right on for Cheerios.
Yeah.
Did you hear what I just said? It's big news. Pretend it's a piff. Anyway.
I'm pretending.
Here we go. The change, which only affects Cheerios, not other varieties like Honey Nut Cheerios, has been in the works since about a year ago when General Mills began working to change manufacturing for Cheerios to eliminate ingredients containing genetically modified organisms, or as we call them, GMOs. Why did they do this? I don't know.
I don't know.
Maybe because they're really shitty for people. Let's find out. The company started manufacturing the GMO-free cereal several weeks ago and expects it to be available to consumers shortly once the products have made their way through the distribution system and onto shelves. Cheerios will carry the label "not made with genetically modified ingredients," though the company notes they could be, they could contain certain trace amounts,
Of it.
contamination
Sure.
in shipping and manufacturing. Anyway, it goes on to say, critics of the GMO use in foods called attention to the Cheerios move Thursday, a major victory, which it is. General Mills, right on.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Go GM.
Now, you know how I was saying if these companies are not going to label things GMO, we're going to beat them on the other end.
That's right.
By saying this is non-GMO. The very fact that Cheerios, the biggest breakfast cereal, I think, in the world,
absolutely,
is going to put labels saying non-GMO is going to wake up all those people who are in the dark.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're going to be like, what the fuck is GMO?
And
why
what percentage
is it
of
not
people,
it?
I don't even think most people don't even know what GMO
They
is.
don't know.
They have no idea.
And it's not really their fault because,
No,
you go to... anyway, okay, there was one other little thing. This is quite a long article. I'm not going to read the whole thing.
Yeah, don't.
But we had to hear your fucking piffs, okay? You got a lot of fucking nerve.
My piffs are very short.
Jesus Christ. Well, good God. Anyway. Okay, so the food companies also generally refused voluntary labeling, saying it's costly and it will give consumers a misconception that GMOs are harmful.
Really?
Sorry. Yeah, the misconception. If they label their things, GMO,
right.
It's going to give people the misconception that it's dangerous. What? Okay. Onward and forward. Can you believe that shit? Anyway, the rest of the world doesn't want our GMO food. By the way, we're going to get to that too. Did you know that Brazil is suing Monsanto for $1 billion? Did you know that?
No.
The country, Brazil.
Yes.
A big place down there.
Yeah.
They're suing Monsanto. Yeah, for GMO. Anyway, GMO Insight, a campaign that advocates GMO labeling, said Cheerios is the first major brand of packaged food in the U.S. to make the switch from containing GMOs to marketing itself as non-GMO. Some foreign countries have restricted GMO use in their food for years. Another funny. Some. The rest of the fucking world, pretty much.
Well, that's great. They start off on the right foot. I think they'll.
This is good.
This is really
This
good.
is huge.
They're going to start a trend with General
Mills.
Yeah. And we'll see who follows.
Well, you know who's following? Post Raisin Bran. They are not going to do it.
It's good.
Not Kellogg's. Kellogg's is going to follow.
This is what's going to happen. Because as they put the awareness out, right, everyone's going to be looking for that no GMO.
They're going to wonder, what is GMO?
Absolutely.
What is it that's
They're going to start asking more questions.
You mean this doesn't have GMO, but everything else on
Right.
the aisle does?
Yeah.
That's where people's eyes are going to be open.
That's right.
Thank God. Cheerios. God, I'm so proud of Cheerios.
Good job.
Anyhow.
What's your next piff?
Well, it's not a piff. That's just some general news.
Well, that's
and
good.
by the way, it came out about a week ago. But still, it's still...
Which most people still don't know about.
Yeah,
but
you
this
know,
is
I
good.
was driving on the road the other day, and instead of having a bicyclist I was trying to deal with, I was dealing with a skateboarder. How do you like that? Skateboarder was in the aisle. Not the aisle, I'm sorry. In the lane. The skateboarder was behind. First of all, I had to tool around to go around the idiot on his skateboard in the right lane.
Yeah.
I think I was going to, I don't know.
Did he have a helmet on?
He didn't have shit on. He had his pants down to halfway down his ass, like that cool shit they think they're doing.
Right.
He's on his skateboard. I go around him. I hit my brake. The idiot. Now here's the great part. They don't have brakes. He almost landed on my hood of my, not the hood, the trunk of my car.
Oh, I think he would scratch the paint and dented your car.
No, here's the point. Okay, it's bikes don't belong on the road, and skateboards don't belong on the road.
No.
And at one time, bikes didn't belong on the road.
You know
and
what's
now
gonna be
they've
next?
decided that they belong on the
Roller
road.
skates.
Roller skates. How about those little scooters where you push with one leg and you ride with the other? We'll have scooters on it. Hi. How are you? We have a guest. She's going to hide in the corner over there. Anyway, so check this out. My point is this, is bicycles do not, it's very simple. If you cannot drive the basic minimum speed,
yes,
you don't belong on the road.
I agree.
Wouldn't you agree?
I agree.
Because it's going to cause problems.
Absolutely.
It's going to cause traffic.
Accidents.
So if you can't do the 35 to 45 miles an hour,
Right.
which is generally what it is, then get off the road.
And why is it that bicyclists are always the number one people in ERs?
Because I don't know, but
Or because-
that's really doesn't bother me. I'm sorry about that. You shouldn't have been on the road. Like I said before, I don't drive at the airport on the runway in my car.
No.
They don't put I can't keep up with the speeds of the planes. You know, they get up to about 150 miles an
Of
hour
course,
before
yeah.
they take off.
Yeah, your skateboard can't go
Most
fast
cars.
enough. No.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
You follow me.
I'm getting it.
So anyway, this is what I would say. Bob, does this show up on the thing?
Yeah, go a little bit. Go as close as I can.
Okay.
Here, give it to me, and I'll hold it so that it's framed, right?
Okay, perfect. Hold that right there.
Okay.
Okay, that's not normal. Notice this is a car lane.
Yeah.
They
Yes.
can't see your finger.
Hold on, let me see what this is. Okay, yeah, this is not normal. Okay, what we have here, I have to describe this. Okay,
Yes.
for people who might not understand, this is a lane where cars drive. In the middle, you have a bike lane. Oh, and then what do we have over here? Well, it's another a car lane. So I was up in Los Gatos.
Yeah.
And they had a normal is like this. You have lanes,
Right.
car.
Go up a little bit higher.
You have a car lane.
Correct.
And a car lane.
And then the bike lane.
And
on
then
the
you
side.
have a bike lane over to the far.
Correct.
Now, does this look like, just my
So
curiosity?
you'd have a bike lane between two lanes.
Yeah. Does that look like it could perhaps cause
Raise
problems?
it up a little higher. Raise it up higher.
Yeah.
There we go.
There you go. So when this guy wants to cross over to this lane, what if he doesn't see?
He's just going to bump that bicyclist off. And,
How about just run his ass clear over? If he doesn't see little Billy with his neat little helmet, he's going to go, what a stupid place to put a bike lane. I mean, first of all, it's stupid that they're, I mean, it's great that they're off to the side of the road. It really is. It's
Right.
great that
But
they're
let's
off to
put
the
him in the
side.
middle.
Put him in the middle of the lane so
right.
somebody, maybe a semi changes lanes. And suddenly Billy and Katie are done, right? Where'd they go? Two little bikes back there, maybe a helmet in the bushes.
I've never seen that.
No, I haven't either, but it's up there. It's in Los Gatos, the city of Los Gatos.
And what is the speed limit on that road?
I don't know. 35. I think it was 35.
Oh,
I was just so amazed they had a bike lane in between two lanes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one thing if it's off to the side. Sure, somebody may veer over and hit them, accidentally. But when you have two lanes and you're going to cross to get to one or cross to get
Crazy.
to the other, blind spot, people. Again, if you're in a blind spot,
Yeah.
it doesn't make any. You know what?
You're going to hit that bicyclist. You're not even going to know you hit anything.
So what's to stop them from? First of all, do you know what it's called? I drank a little coffee tonight. Do you
Scott
know?
hasn't taken one breath since we started.
No. Do you know what those little scooters are called, where you put one leg on it and then you go like this?
It's called a Razor, I think. The Razor.
Yeah.
Razor scooter.
Is that what they called
Yeah,
them back
Razor.
in the day too? Okay. So a razor.
Yeah.
Is that what they called them in the 50s? Because kids did them then too in the 50s, but they didn't call them a razor.
No.
Is
They
it a
were just
razor or a
scooters
phone?
back then.
Just scooters.
Scooters.
Yeah.
But now when you refer to a scooter, you're talking about something that it's not quite a motorcycle, but it.
Possibly,
You
yeah.
look like
it, could
an
be,
idiot.
it could be electric. It could be.
Yeah. You look like a
Right.
total goofball.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay. Well, what's to keep people from roller skating and skateboarding and razoring?
Right.
If bikes can do it,
Why not a big wheel?
a big wheel? Remember the big wheels?
Yeah, I know.
No, but what I'm saying is it's the inch yard people again at work. Seriously, it is. I've gone through this before.
People, what were
They
you
wanted
thinking?
a non-smoking section in the restaurant.
Yes.
Now you can't smoke anywhere in fucking town.
It's great.
Inch yard people. Last subject. Last subject.
Okay.
Okay.
Grand finale.
Is everybody excited about paying 10 cents a bag when you go to the grocery store or the department
Yeah.
store or really any store?
Thank you, Bob.
That was beautiful. You should
No.
let it play out.
That was it.
Okay. Let me tell you something. First of all, I used to work for a supermarket, very big chain. Not going to mention their name, but they're very big. Anyhow,
Yeah.
the price of the bags is incorporated in the products they sell. Okay, these bags are already paid for. Do you understand? You understand.
Absolutely.
They're paid for.
Yes.
Why are we paying for them? Why are we paying for them?
Why are we paying for them?
Okay,
Scott?
well, Aaron, come on. Seriously. We're
I thought-
overpaying. What's going to
Well, they
happen?
got rid of the plastic because of the whole
Whatever.
economy thing,
I
and they
know.
wanted to go green, and so
I know.
then they did the paper bags,
so-
and then we got to pay for the bags.
Yeah,
So,
they're already paid for. They're getting double
well,
up.
we're in a state that's already bankrupt. So, I mean, I'm just
Exactly.
Yes.
So where's this money going that we're paying for? It's going to the state government.
Absolutely.
The government's getting
Yes.
it. They're so good with money already,
Of
right?
course.
Let's pay them double on the bags
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
we're already paying for, right? What are they going to do? Okay, let's say Ed Begley Jr. Isn't he that green guy?
yes.
Okay. Let's say he was in the room. He'd say, well, it's environmental. Okay. Well, then why don't we give it to an environmental group?
Right.
Wouldn't that make sense?
It would make
Rather
sense.
than give it to the government?
Yeah.
Who obviously can't control money.
Right.
Okay, here's the thing.
Yeah.
We're already paying for the bags. Why are we paying again? Why? Why is it that everybody's paying again? Why do we just pay when we're told? What happens next week when Campbell's Soup says, hey, they had a good idea. Let's charge them a $1.15 for a can of soup plus 10 cents for the can.
Yeah.
And people say, oh, don't be ridiculous. Really? Don't be ridiculous already. They're charging you for bags that you're already paying for. And how about this? How about the label that goes on the can? Well, Campbell's decided that they're going to charge $1.15 for the soup, 10 cents for the can, and we have a 5-cent label charge. But we have ink on the label, too. So we're going to go with 5 cents for ink on the label, too. Where's it going to stop?
It's not.
It's not. That's my point. This is ridiculous.
If you want a handle on the bag, it's extra 5 cents.
It's really not something that you want to joke about. They're charging you 10 cents.
Well, as stupid as that sounds,
bag.
it's reality.
Do you know what they're doing up north now? Now down here, as of January, they're just starting to charge 10 cents all over LA,
right,
per bag. They've gone from 10 cents, I heard, up in the Bay Area to 25 cents a bag now.
Jeez.
Right.
Now they're charging on the bigger bags, but the smaller bags, they're not.
Well, that's what I was just going to get at.
Yeah.
Here's the really funny part. I went to a store and they said, and would you like 10 cents? Would you like a bag for 10 cents? What do you mean, would I like a bag for 10 cents? No, I'd like a bag, but it's free. It's already paid for. I don't want a bag for 10 cents. I want a bag, like I always got, a bag. We didn't make a deal here. Anyway, she said they're 10 cents. And they say it with a smile. It's really annoying. People who say something annoying to you with a smile kind of send you a double message. It's only 10 cents. I want to say, you know what? It's like saying someone killed my kitten. You know? Yeah. Smile a lot. Anyway, okay. So
they give you a small bag.
So I said, how much are those? And it was the next size down. She said, oh, those are free. So I had a couple bags filled up, right? Yeah. And I said to the girl, well, I'll take, give me a few of those. She goes, are you serious? I go, are you serious? You're going to charge me 10 cents a bag? She goes, yeah. I go, well, then I'm goddamn serious. She had to take all this stuff out and double up in the smaller bags.
Right. So you had like 20 small bags.
Yeah. But they're free. They're free. Now, a lot of places don't even do this. A lot of places we have one size bag. What's that? It's $100 each. You know what I'm saying? It will be one day. But no, you don't get the option. But you are also going to have to do this at department stores too. Department stores. When is this madness going to end? I don't know. What's next after paper bags? I don't know. I just told you the fucking cans at Campbell's. How about the box of cereal Cheerios goes in? And you know what? If everybody's so concerned about green and being environmentally, aware and all that.
Yeah.
Well, what the hell? Why are they filling things halfway and wasting the rest of the box and blaming it on settling? Give me a break. Yeah. Settling? You know those machines that they go around and they fill up and then they dump it into the truck?
Yes.
Let them go around one more time before they dump them in the truck so they settle, so you don't have to waste all that plastic. When's the last time you opened up a big bin of protein powder and went, oh, there's the scoop. You got to go all the way to the bottom to get it. All that plastic they waste.
On that note, we're going to take a break because Scott needs some more coffee. He has not slowed down. So when we come back, we're going to have an amazing guest. She's beautiful, gorgeous actress, and we're going to meet her when we come back.
Yes, we are.
Oh, yeah.
What were you thinking with Aaron and Scott? The show that gets to the core of all the bull. Thursday night, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. You know, we here at the studio are really athletic guys, and as a result, we're always pulling this, overstretching that. You know how it goes. You get hurt from time to time, or you just sleep wrong and wake up with some sort of ache or pain. But no matter what the situation is, we choose who we consider to be one of the best chiropractors in L.A., Dr. Chet Millett. Headaches, backaches, neck aches. He's the guy we trust with our pain. Dr. Millett is located at Body Structure in Hollywood, California on Cole Street across from Gold's Gym. Seriously, we know this guy. He's got the experience and expertise, and he cares. That's Dr. Chet Millett. Give him a call at 323-469-8062 or look him up on the web at bodystructurela.com, or you can find him on Yelp. Dr. Chet Millett. He's the guy we trust with our pain. From the darkness below, an intense and thrilling game by the creators of App Code Source, bringing the ultimate Gangnam game directly to your devices. Gangnam Speedrunner. Work it. Now available on your App Store. Get ready to run. This app is rated G for Gangnam. Visit GangnamSpeedrunner.com. Work it.
And Wicked, we are back.
Yes, we
Did
are.
you get your coffee?
I don't need any more, really.
Ladies and gentlemen, you know what I like about this show, Scott, is that we have fascinating people that come on.
Yes, we do.
And we have a fascinating person on our show.
I'm looking at her right now.
The gorgeous, the wonderful Lynn Lowry.
Hi, Lynn.
Hi,
Welcome.
How are you?
I'm good. I want Cheerios in a bag.
Okay, she's a keeper.
Yes.
Cool.
Are you familiar with the GMO that we were talking about earlier? Like,
Yeah, somewhat. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. A lot of people aren't. You know.
Well, no, I know a lot of people aren't, but everybody should be because you know they're really not good. You know, it's really interesting. But I'll say one last thing on it. They did a test. Monsanto, the GMO makers, did a 3-month test, 90 days.
Yeah.
They decided that it's safe for human consumption. Private groups did a test and said that the bad effects of GMO don't start until 1 year, 4 months. There we go.
There we go.
Well, imagine that. Hello, Cheerios. Goodbye, cornflakes.
So again, welcome, Lynn. And
Thank you.
This is so great is Lynn. For those of you who don't know, she's been in the movie business for 40 years, right? Making pictures. Mm-hmm. And you've had. It was interesting reading your bio, your life about you, and it. When you started, now you're you were born in Illinois.
Yes.
And then you moved to Burbank, I think, when you're 12 or
Yes.
so. Mm-hmm. And then you got into acting, and then you moved away from Burbank here in California, pretty much the prime of where I think you were taking acting classes and kind of getting your feet warm into the whole industry.
Right.
And then you moved away. And where did you move to after that?
To Georgia.
To Georgia. So reading through your life, it seemed like there was a lot of obstacles that could have easily prevented you or basically stopped you from pursuing acting, but you were always able to find a way to channel and to be able to bring that back and to be able to be a pioneer actually really of today of everything that you've done. I find that fascinating because I think a lot of times people that have had obstacles or things that have prevented them from maybe pursuing into the acting industry say, oh well, this happened. How were you able to? Have you always wanted to act?
Yeah, my dad was actually a jazz trumpet player.
Right.
And so he was a performer, and he wanted me to be, perform and be out there. I actually played the trumpet for about 15 years.
Wow.
Of my life, and my mom supported me as well. And I actually started acting way back when I was like 5.
Right.
I was in like the Christmas plays at the church and, grade school plays, and just always had that kind of, desire to be in front of people.
Right.
So.
And I think, was it actually going back, when you in elementary, I think what kind of got the bug was you did something on a spider. It was what was that story? It was, you did something, was it, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, I do. I was very shy when I was that age,
Right.
and we had to do a report on an insect, and I picked the spider.
Right.
And when I gave my report on the spider, everyone in the class thought it was the best report ever, and they wanted me to do their report on their roach or their whatever their bug was.
Right.
And so I realized at that point that I had kind of this public speaking ability to do that.
Right.
And that kind of really turned me on to.
How old were you then?
That was in about the 4th grade, I think.
Wow.
Nice.
So,
Did you end up doing some things for other kids' bugs?
No.
They were on their
No,
own.
they were on their own for the bugs, yeah.
But I think that's fascinating at such a young age to be able to, and maybe it was just kind of that natural high of getting that reaction, that positive reaction from the kids. And I think maybe just realizing, hey, I think I'm kind of on the right track here as far as being in front of a group of people or
Right.
acting. And so do you remember how did you do your presentation that was so amazing? Did you?
I just,
I'm just thinking how you're doing, like you're telling about a spider, but unless you were like animated about
back
it.
in those days, I think if you like memorized your report
Right.
and you could do it from memory, that was it. They love that.
Right.
If you didn't get up there and just read, the spider is, this, you like told it like
Like a
Right.
story.
like a story.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. And so that turned me on to acting and
How come
getting
it?
that
How, I'm
attention.
just curious, but how come it didn't like turn you on to bugs? How's that for a thought? You could have been a bugologist.
That's true.
Now, one thing I didn't know is that you were a Playboy bunny.
Yes, I was.
What year?
Gee.
This is a few years ago, Scott.
Yeah.
Well, no, I'm
you
just
know,
curious. That's very cool.
It was in Atlanta,
yeah,
right?
It was in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Did you meet Hugh
yeah.
Hefner?
No, I
No?
never met Hugh, but I was actually I was Bunny Mia because the
Wow.
bunny mother thought that I looked like Mia Farrow.
Oh.
And so, and I was the skinniest bunny at the Playboy Club.
Right.
So they often put me in the back room to play bumper pool because if you bend over, your tits look bigger. So, actually, I had people that would ask for another bunny when they would get me
Yeah.
because I just was so not like the normal bunny.
Wow.
Now, when you did that, were you still? Now this was in Atlanta. So were you acting? Were you modeling at that time when you were doing that?
Yeah, I mean, I was in college and had just gotten out of college. I had just had a baby. I was, just pursuing, whatever I could at that point.
Right.
But later on, I actually was in the Playboy magazine. So,
Wow.
they didn't care so much about size of tits at that point. It was, a little bit more of the, quality of the person.
Sure.
So.
Now, did you know at that point that you wanted to be an actress?
Oh yeah, no, I definitely.
Yeah.
She knew in fourth grade.
Well, yeah, I mean, when she did the spider. No, I know.
Where were
but-
you?
No,
Where were you?
I worked in summer stock. John Belushi was in my company. I worked with John. I did that when I was like 17. And then when I was 19, I went to New York and started pursuing it at that point.
What did you do with John Belushi?
John was in the 10 Little Indians with me,
Yeah.
and he was the killer.
Wow.
And was a totally method actor. And when the gun didn't go off that I was supposed to shoot him with, he actually attacked me and started to strangle me.
Was this prior to Saturday Night Live? Or-
Yes.
really?
Yes. He was, I think, 16 at
Wow.
that point.
What did you think of him?
Well, he smoked a lot of weed.
Yeah. Among other things, right?
Yeah. Well, I didn't know about that.
Yeah.
No. And but he was, he was very professional and knew his lines. And
Yeah.
other than trying to kill me on stage, I liked him a lot.
Very
So,
cool. Very cool.
Now you've done so many movies, and the one movie that I was going through and just kind of making notes, one called I Drink Your Blood,
Yes.
and the movie was already cast, so
Right.
they already had all the characters, and yet they casted you anyway, and actually created even a role for you in that
Right.
movie. So tell me about that. Was this movie? Was this the one that kind of was a launching pad for you as far as into, I guess, what movie? How should I phrase this? What significance?
Did this
is
get you going?
Well, no. I mean, from this movie, was this like the movie that actually kind of was the kickoff into all the other movies that followed?
No.
Okay.
These were all accidents, actually, that I worked with Cronenberg and Romero and Jonathan Demme and Paul Schrader.
Right.
There was never any rhyme or reason to why I got all these horror films. I just got them, and so then have become like a cult horror, personality. That particular movie, David Durston just loved me. When I went into the audition, it was already all cast,
Right.
but he said, he was very flamboyant, David, and he was like, "Oh my God, you're gorgeous. I just love you. You must be in my movie. I'm going to write you a part." And I was thinking like, "Oh yeah, okay, right." But 2 days later, he called me and he said, "You're in my movie. You're playing a mute, so I don't have to write any more lines for it."
That's funny.
you know.
What is
And,
your favorite horror film?
I think. Oh, you mean my all-time favorite?
Give me 5.
Okay.
Just curious.
Well, I'll just give you one.
Okay.
My favorite horror film of all time is The Omen
Yeah.
with Gregory Peck.
Okay.
I love that
Yeah.
film.
Just like to know people's, their favorite horror films when they're in the
Yeah.
horror.
Yeah.
Like The Shining too.
Yeah.
It's
Jack
very
Nicholson.
good. Yes.
Halloween,
Amazing.
I love Halloween.
the original,
Yes.
of course.
That's the best.
Yeah.
It's always nice when you do something of the original because it's so organic. And it's like when you did the Crazies, and then they did a remake in 2010, which you made a cameo in,
Yes.
and scary movie. I saw. I mean, it was amazing, and but to be able to partake in the the Crazies, I always think it's great when you do something so original because you're introducing it to the viewer for the very first time, and so
Right.
they're getting that shock for the very first time. So I think to be able to play a part of that, I think is amazing. How was
Right.
that experience working in the Crazies?
Well, the original was incredible because you worked with Romero.
Right.
And, we didn't have all the technical stuff that enhanced us. So, George would just say, Lynn, you need to be crazier here. So I'd have to act that.
Right.
The remake was incredible experience, but they were, all the makeup and the technical stuff. And
You're talking about like special effects and
yes,
all
all that, yeah.
Yeah, you had to have your talent really, really down way back in the day.
21,250,000.
Exactly.
Big difference.
Yeah.
But to be in both was great.
You have a lot of things in the making right now too.
Yes, I have 2 big films coming out. Actually, one's coming out this year called Torture Chamber that Dante Tomaselli directed.
And tell us about that.
Well, I don't want to tell you too much. 'Cause
Okay.
I
It's
want
called
you to-
Torture Chamber.
Yeah, so you can kind of imagine
I'm
what.
trying to
what's that
figure it out.
about.
It sounds like
what
a
is that about?
holiday comedy, maybe?
Yeah,
I don't know.
there's like a big song there.
Whips
Yeah.
and chains.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah. So, but I have a really great role, and Dante's brilliant as far as his visual,
Right.
looks, his gothic.
Can you
kind
talk
of,
about the role or the
thing.
character that you play, or what kind of?
Yeah, I play the art teacher of the little boy that is not to right,
Right.
and he comes back after the people that he feels did him wrong. And
How old is he when he comes back at the people?
He's I think he was about 10 or 11, and then he had a group of people that followed him, and what they do is not pretty.
And then he
So-
comes back later on after 10 or 11?
No.
Oh, 10,
No,
10
he's
is when he
just-
comes back?
Yeah, that's when that.
10-year-old
that's
with
his
revenge.
age. Yes.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah.
Usually I wait
So-
till they get a little bigger.
No, he's
Not today.
and he's got powers. So,
Oh, okay.
He can do things that other kids can't. So,
Nice.
Yeah, and then my other film I have coming out is Model Hunger,
Okay.
and Debbie Rochon directed that. That's her first film that she directed, and I play a Southern Belle serial killer in that.
Modern hunger?
Model
Hunger.
Hunger.
And it's not
yes.
about a diet that doesn't work.
No, but actually, it does have some to do with diet, and how people put people in certain categories because of weight,
Yeah.
and and all that. And I actually was a sort of a bondage model in the film when I was younger, and now I'm older, and now I hate these young women, and I'm and I'm pretty vicious.
Really?
Yeah, I'm quite vicious. So
What's the biggest change that
She
you've
says
seen?
that with pride.
What's the?
I like that.
I love to do
Right?
stuff
I love
like
that.
that.
I'm quite vicious.
No, I'm curious because of so many years of making movies.
Mm-hmm.
What's the biggest change that you've seen from back, doing your early movies and now? How have you seen the movie industry evolve from when you first started to where it is now?
Well, when I first started, we worked with 35 mil,
Right.
and you had to get it. You didn't get to do it 5 times or 10 times or twice.
Sure.
You had to nail it right away. So you had to really have your craft, available to you and know how to bring up that emotion right away.
Right.
now it's just like endless. You do it again and again and again.
It's like a 30-second
know.
TV commercial that takes a weekend to film.
Really.
Yeah,
And,
exactly.
and you do it the same way mostly, and you say, well, do you want something different? And they say, no, just do it that way. And,
Yeah.
and you're thinking,
How many
well,
times can you get something the same way?
Yeah.
I always wonder that.
So it's
So-
harder now, it seems.
Well,
than
it's more
the
frustrating.
repetitiveness of it is
Right.
actually
Yeah.
harder, but there's less stress because you have time.
Right.
Yeah, you're going to get it
know,
eventually.
If you don't like it, you can just say, I don't like that. I
Yeah.
want to do another, 5 takes.
Right.
Yeah.
And they'll go, okay.
I mean,
So you have, all this time to do it.
you've done movies, you've done soaps, you've been on Broadway.
Yes.
Where is between doing all those? What do you like doing the most?
Well,
Because they're so different.
yes. I always like to do theater the best because the discipline in theater is beyond anything imaginable. I mean, you're there in
Right.
front of a live audience, and you cannot mess it up.
Right.
Kind of like back in the day, right?
Yeah, you
Yeah.
have to do it. But even back in the day, you could mess it up and they could fix it.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
if
yeah.
you're in front of a live audience,
Right.
if you don't get that moment, at that moment, that audience will never get that moment.
Absolutely.
So that kind of hardcore training and discipline that I worked on for 20 years, I love that. It's you get a beginning, a middle, and end, and you get that immediate feeling from the audience right there.
Yeah.
It's kind of a
So-
rush, huh?
It is.
A lot of
It's-
people like
it's a
that.
big rush.
Endorphins.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of that, so I mean, you teach as well. So you do teach acting.
Yes.
And how is that to be able to take your years in craft to be able to now teach?
Well, I love to teach, and I also like to direct, and I want to get more into that, later. But
Right.
to try to give somebody else what I know, because see what I have, because of the background I came from, I just have a gift. I could do Tennessee Williams back when I was 14 years old.
Sure.
I just knew how to do it. I don't know where it came from. I don't know how I could do it, but I could evoke an emotion from an audience even then.
Let me ask you something. When it comes to, I've asked other people this, but memorizing lines, has that always just been natural for you?
No, that's hard. I mean, what I do to memorize is I start on the first page. I don't go past that first page until I know it cold.
Wow.
And then I go to the second page.
So it's just like anybody else. It's just
Yeah,
difficult. You have to do it.
to memorize it. You have to put the time in that it takes to go over it as many times as you need to in order to know it.
What's your secret to remembering? Because, I mean, I've known a lot of people that struggle with this.
No, I mean, you memorize the first line.
Yeah,
You say it till you know it in your sleep.
yeah,
Then you go to the second line.
yeah.
You say it till you know it in
I
your
just
sleep.
think it's fascinating how people
you
do
know.
that.
Then you go
know?
back to the first. If you know the first and the second, you go to the third.
Yeah,
Now,
totally.
if somebody wants to get into acting, it kind of like singing, is it a craft that you either know or you don't? Is it something that somebody can pick up and become an actor? I mean, sometimes, is somebody cut out to be an actor or not?
Well, I mean, that's a hard question to answer. I think if somebody puts the time in and they really work and they learn the craft, I think that they can eventually, be an adequate actor.
Sure.
But I also do think that there are people that do have a gift, and that's just something that you can't really teach. So, you're just whatever it is.
You can always just turn on the TV too and figure it out. There's real good ones and there's real shitty ones too.
there's,
Well, I know too. There's a lot of acting studios. There's a lot of instructors. What makes you different than most instructors out there? Maybe the way your craft is, or what makes you unique?
Well, what I like to do is I like to start from an emotional base. So I like to search through the person to see what it is in them that makes them tick. What makes them find that emotion, in the role. That structure that they can build up from, so that when they get on stage and they get in front of a camera, they're not just relying on what's going to happen at that moment, but that they've got this whole underneath, structure like a house that you've built that you can then call on, that will be there for you. If the emotion and the magic is not,
Right.
you still have to perform, whether that's there or not. So you always want to make sure you have that, base. And I try to teach that and help people to find that.
Now, are you still teaching?
Yes, I
Okay.
am.
Where do you teach?
Well,
Here in LA?
right now, yes, I teach in LA, and I have private students right now. So
Now, are you wanting to do more into the producing, directing part, or do you want to focus still more on your acting?
I'd like to do both. I did do a film that I produced called Schism,
Okay.
which we're still working to, get out there.
What's schism?
I play a woman with 4 personalities.
Schism.
And, yes, and she has a TV show, and she talks to people that have different, problems that they're trying to deal with. And I try to help them through the TV show, but unfortunately I have a doctor that I recommend them to see, and this doctor happens to be like this maniac. So,
Nice.
so my help there doesn't really help them a whole lot, because a lot of them get killed. But,
So how is it when you're doing a movie to where you're not only in it, but you're also, now you're directing it and
just producing, yeah.
producing it. So how is that a challenge for you to be able to produce and be in it as well?
Yeah, I mean, it's always challenging, but I did a lot of theater work. I produced and directed and was in
Sure.
the project, so I kind of know how to, wear those different hats. And I always feel that, you work with people that know as much or more, and then you let them run the game.
Right.
If, they can do it. I have no ego about who has the better choice. If you have the better choice, then let's do it. Because
Right.
I want the project to be the best it can be, so I have no ego when it comes
Right.
to that kind of stuff.
So
I know you mentioned John Belushi, but are there any others who you've worked with who you really liked, respected, who were very nice to you maybe?
Well, I worked with Peter Fonda, he was great. Jonathan Demme, who won the Academy Award for Silence of the Lambs, was great.
Yeah.
David Cronenberg, who's, huge,
Yeah.
was in his first film. He was wonderful to work with. George Romero. I mean, so many people. Oh, Malcolm McDowell.
Yeah.
Just a lot of people over the years.
Yeah,
and
nice.
they've all been really wonderful. And I feel really fortunate, to be a sex goddess, horror icon legend.
Yeah.
And very mellow, too.
Because I was
You're
in
like
actually.
very mellow.
I am mellow.
You're like
I am mellow
She's
unless
like-
I'm playing a serial
I
killer.
know, but you're very soothing the way you talk.
Very
I'm like,
silky.
I just want to lay down and listen to you. It's cool.
Yeah.
Just
Unless I have a knife, and then
Of course.
you might not want to.
yeah.
Well, it's like when Tyler Mane was in here, playing Michael Myers, and it's just the friendliest guy until you put a knife in his hand, and then he
Right.
turns into a
killer.
A killer.
Yes.
No, actually, he put the mask on, and then he turns into the killer.
Oh yeah.
But what's one thing that you want your fans to take away from all your work, that you want people to know you as?
Well, that's difficult. I mean, my earlier work, of course, my work in Shivers is,
Right.
I think really, really good. And my favorite moment on screen is in Shivers, when I come up out of the swimming pool in like slow motion, and I'm like gorgeous and young and sexy and scary and, all those wonderful things. So I think that's probably my favorite, moment. Now I'd like for them to see my newer work. I mean, I was in The Grim Becoming, which is a comedy horror
Right.
film. I was in George's Intervention, which is a comedy horror. I'm getting more into comedy, kind of. I'm actually very funny. So I love that. And I'm hoping that they'll get to see my new work. Basement Jack, that's
Right.
a great film. The Super. So many new things I have, and I'm trying to get the fans to look at the new stuff
Right.
rather than just,
And I was just going to ask you that, because it seemed like all your older stuff, it was more into the genre of horror,
Right.
thriller type stuff. But now you're saying now you kind of get into more of the comedy.
Right.
Strictly comedy, or kind of more of a comedy with a
knife.
With a knife. Yeah.
No, I mean, it's comedy horror.
Okay.
It's Night of the Sea Monkey. I play Grandma O'Connor, and I save the my grandson from the sea monkey that's mutated and into this ugly, horrible thing. And, it's just great fun, to do that and to work with the independent, filmmakers who are new at it and
Right.
and they're open to your suggestions and it's great. It's great fun. I really enjoy working with new people.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool. And is there what's one question that you get from your fans a lot that you seem to get the same question over and over again from your fans?
Well, everyone always wants to know what it was like to work with George Romero. So he was awesome. I mean, he was great. I mean, he, cast people great. He
Right.
let you kind of do your thing.
George Romero's Night of the Living Dead.
Yes.
Or actually, not the original Night of the Living
Oh
Dead.
yeah, no, the original.
Was he the original?
Yeah,
The
yeah.
original.
In the late 60s?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, and then there was Day of the Dead, Dawn of the Dead, Return
Right.
of the Living Dead.
Land of the Dead, Dire of the Dead.
I didn't realize that George Romero did the original in the late 60s.
Oh yes, no. And not only did he direct it, but he also was a cinematographer on it and shot the film.
The
So,
original.
yes.
With the black guy and the lady.
Yes.
God, what an
Yes.
amazing movie.
So
I
yeah.
know because we talk about that.
Yeah.
Scott, that was one of Scott's favorites.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, Night of the Living Dead.
Yeah.
So, like,
no, it's a great film.
you like The Omen. I like The Night of the Living Dead.
I like that one too.
I liked it
I
more.
like that.
So what's next?
Well, I have some projects coming up this
You have
year.
a lot of them.
I know. I
You have a
do.
lot of them.
Yes.
Yes.
But I'm not sure. I have one coming up called Cannibals.
Okay.
Which, guess what that's about.
Sounds like another nice Sunday afternoon.
Well, sounds like eating barbecued ribs or something. I don't know.
Yes. But I play mama.
Uh-huh.
So,
Of course you do.
and I cook really good meals.
Do you still have as much fire and drive now as you did when you first started?
Yeah, I think so.
I think you have more.
I think I do.
Well, I mean,
think
sometimes
you have
people
more.
get, they
Of
kind of get
course.
comfortable in their settings, and but you've continually reinvented and continually have. I just think it's great to be able to see someone as yourself, to be able to, go from year to year and just keep going and keep just doing new things, as opposed to like a one-hit wonder. So to be able
Right.
to see it and go through this transition of time, I think really speaks a lot about someone's character, and to be able to push, from decade to the next, like, Cher or some of these amazing musicians and actors and
Right.
actresses, to where they're so creative in their genre, what they do, that they're good, and they can move with time.
Yeah.
And you
You
are living
keep
proof of that.
going.
Yeah, well, I think it would be unfair to the fans not to give them more, not to push the envelope, not to go farther, not to carry them with me. So
Right.
that's my goal, is to bring them into this, era and let them see my work now.
Now, do you have like things that I think you sell through your website, right? Or
Yes.
like if someone wants an autographed picture or posters, you have like
Right.
memorabilia of like old from movies that you've done in the past.
Yes.
So what is your website that people can go to?
www.lynnlowry.com.
Okay.
Or they can go to Facebook.
Perfect.
And, get me on there,
That's
So,
awesome.
Beautiful. How we doing here?
1 minute.
Uno momento.
Okay.
I'm bilingual too.
Wow.
Bet you didn't know that.
I see. And you said fuck a lot too. I thought that was very cool.
I'm
Potty mouth.
as much as I wash his mouth out with soap,
I
he
keep
just-
coming back with
he
another
keeps
naughty
coming back with
word.
a naughty word.
Well, you know what? I loosened up when you said tits. Quite honestly,
There
I
you
loosened
go.
up when you said tits.
Good.
All bets were
That
off.
sobered him up from that coffee.
There we go. Oh my God, it did. Anyway,
Lynn,
thank you so much
for coming on the
My
show.
pleasure. Thank
Such
you
a
for
beautiful
having
woman,
me.
such a
Absolutely.
cool lady. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
We
so
wish you all the
much.
best of luck, ladies and gentlemen. The beautiful, talented Lynn Lowry.